Located on 225 acres in Garden City, Long Island, Nassau Community College, a member of the State University of New York system, has close to 20,000 students attend the school each year. The college mascot is Leo the Lion, and these are his stories of the school's absolute best and brightest who have graduated over the past 50-plus years. Let's catch up together as the Alumni Association of Nassau Community College proudly presents Lion Tales, a Nassau Community College Foundation production on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome to Lion Tales, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Aurora Workman. I am president of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association. I'm here with a special guest co-host, my friend, second vice president of the Alumni Association and dean of students, Charmian Smith, a proud graduate of Nassau Community College. And together, we'll share stories that will inspire, uplift, and often amuse you.
Thank you, Aurora. Each week, Aurora and Lynnda introduce you to alumni of Nassau Community College interested in sharing their experience here, along with the secrets to their success. Look for many new and exciting events of the Alumni Association on social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and our web pages at www.nassaucommunitycollege.edu/alumni. If you have any positive news you'd like to share about Nassau Community College alumni engagements, births, graduations, weddings, or accolades, email us at alumni@nassaucommunitycollege.edu, and we'll give you a shout out.
Yes, Nassau Community College has had so many great people working for student success, and we were saddened to learn of the passings of the former Associate Vice President for Human Resources, Mr. Fred Downs, and an esteemed professor, Dr. Ken Jenkins of the African Studies Department. So our condolences go out to their families and friends and to the college community. So, as we begin our show today, we are very happy to have with us today's guest is Janelle Clausen, reporter with Slate Media, an award-winning chain of 6 weekly newspapers covering the North Shore of Nassau County. Slate Media is a fast-growing media organization serving the North Shore of Nassau County through digital, print publications, and live events. And welcome to Lion Tales, Janelle Clausen, class of 2013.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Slate.
Yes.
Tell us something about that.
Well, Slate, as you said before, big weekly chain of newspapers covering the North Shore, relatively new, and in a way we're trying to bring news both from Nassau County that impacts North Shore residents and just amplify what's going on at the North Shore, attend all the meetings and whatnot, just basically deliver news, whereas other newspapers may have been drawing back a little bit because it's hard.
Right. So you decided to cover, did you take journalism classes when you were here? Did you decide to do it after?
Yeah, I ended up taking a journalism class here. I believe it was with Professor McNair, and she was very helpful and really encouraging, so shout out to her.
Yes.
And that was pretty much actually the only journalism course that I took here, but I had taken political science courses, history stuff, just to get a general liberal arts background. And during my time here, I was also with the newspaper a lot, the vignettes, so that was a really fun time, and I think that's where I learned a lot.
Unless you decide to be a journalist.
I would say so, yeah. Safe guess.
What was your position on the vignette?
First, I started out as a little lonely staff writer, and then I ended up being the arts and features editor for a little while. Semester or two, I believe. It's been a long time, and
2013. She says it's been a long time. Okay, I'm going to let you
5 years. A lot's happened since then, so.
Go ahead. This is true, Janelle.
Oh, God, where were we?
We were at that long ago time of 2013.
Oh, yeah, when it was, oh, my gosh. Yeah, I can still remember Superstorm Sandy. I can remember when the debate was nearby in Hofstra and Jill Stein got arrested. That was fun. All that great stuff happened over here.
So tell us, so you were a student when Superstorm Sandy came, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that time. I know it was really hard for a lot of students and families who really got hit by it near the closest to the shore.
Yeah, our editor-in-chief, I believe, was in the Rockaways, so you can imagine there wasn't really much left. She didn't really have a car pretty much to work with, and she was going through a really hard time, and a lot of our staff members did have a hard time, too, and we were already fairly short-staffed, so we had to put together what we could and get it out there as the best we could with so little resources already strained, so I was very lucky in that I had my parents to help me out, I should say, and man, it was just crazy trying to get that all out, all the papers out. It was normally pretty hard. It's just, there wasn't a shortage of news, though. So,
well, that's true. That's true. So some of the adversities that you came up, I mean, you had to probably just take the initiative. How long had you been doing the news for?
I would say I was there for a bit over a year at that point.
So your experiences came in really, really fast and hard. Another Lois Lane.
Trial by fire.
Yes.
So, Janelle, tell us about some of the interesting stories that you've covered with Blank Slate.
Oh, God, where do I begin? Well, last week on the front page, there was actually a house fire in Great Neck, and the person who used to live there was the superintendent of schools, and he's actually was so important that he had a high school named after him all these years later. So I got to report on that. His daughter, it turns out, still lives there, and she also had like 15 cats, 7 of which died. So I went over to the house. I talked with fire chiefs. I actually, funnily enough, had to my phone was dead when this fire happened, so I actually, when I heard about it from a resident, I had to run over to the fire station and try and be like, so did this actually happen? So that was really interesting, following up on getting pictures for and everything like that. So that's one of many.
So what kind of stories are your favorite stories to pursue or to research and, report on?
It really depends on the mood and how much other stuff is going on at the same time. So every now and then I'd like a feature just to lighten things up a little. Like this week I was able to write about someone who had volunteered at North Shore University Hospital for 16 years and got awarded for it by the town of North Hempstead. But sometimes I wouldn't say the word is fun, but to cover some hard news because it has some impact and you're like, oh my gosh, and it has a sort of shock factor. Like, yeah, last week there was actually an oncologist that's pretty well known in Great Neck, and there was some sexual abuse charges levied against him, and that's gotten some reaction on our website. So
you are going after, the stories. Do you hope to stay at Blank Slate? I don't want to put you out there with with your bosses who are listening now, but I mean, is your focus to stay community newspaper or go national as a journalist? What would be your focus?
Janelle Clausen declined to comment. No. I mean, it's a good answer. It really it's going to depend, honestly.
Right. Well, I'm not going to put you on the spot. You're listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am Aurora Workman, along with Charmian Smith, and our guest today is Janelle Clausen, reporter and editor for Great Neck News and a proud alumnus of Nassau Community College. So, while you were studying at Nassau, what are some of the things that you studied here that lent you to, did you come in here wanting to join the newspaper or, the clubs? How did you get to that point?
Yeah, when I went to the newspaper, I believe it was in my first semester, and I was just thinking, what the heck? I like writing. Something dramatic happened when it came to Sesame Street. Their YouTube channel had gotten hacked, and there was a porn put up on there, so that was a very interesting start. And the opinions editor, Chase, was like, oh, we were looking for a story about this. Why don't you stay along with us? So that's what ended up happening for that. And my interest in public policy and public affairs, I would argue, really started to sharpen around the time I was at Nassau because, you had the Obama and Romney debates over at Hofstra. There was a lot of classes I could take here, which I did, and also my dad always complains about politics, so I can thank him for that. And 2 of the classes I took, one of them was just a comparative politics course, so I got to see how the U.S. was compared with other governments, see how crazy or not crazy we were. We're crazy in some regards, sane in others. And I also got to take one that's actually proving pretty relevant right now, which was an ideology course, and just be introduced to conservatism, liberalism, and all the other environmentalism, feminism, all that kind of stuff. And I actually still have that book as a reference that they used in that class, so it's been pretty helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that Nassau Community College prepared you well?
I would say so. Without Nassau, I don't think I would have came this far, because when I was growing up, I was not this talkative, for one. I would hide in the corner of the classroom. I was probably fairly average in the class in the middle, but Nassau, I would say, was definitely a stepping stone to me becoming more outgoing, more confident, and just finding out the kind of person I am.
So what advice would you give our students now, our current students, about joining clubs and organizations?
Do it. What do you have to lose?
This is true. I mean, one of the things that, my experiences at Nassau was to come out of my shell and to just jump in, because I didn't come here as I came as a traditional student, but I wasn't really traditional because I started when I was 16, but I went to night school. Oh. So that's where there was really adults, They didn't let me play in the box with them, but, so I was coming for class, and it wasn't until my professor, who we had mentioned had passed here, Ken Jenkins, primarily said, you need to come during the day where there are people your age. You need to become involved in peer, projects. And I'm like, well, no, I don't, because nobody else my age has a house. I have bills. Okay. But after he talked to me and we really became close, we kind of went back and forth into the reasons to really be receptive to the college activities. So how did you feel about that? You came after high school?
Yeah, right after.
And then right after high school, so you're now in here, and, you were an extrovert or introvert when you came in?
So introverted.
Okay, so now you're an extrovert.
Mild introvert.
Okay. So what were one of the things that gave you that break the ice type of thing with Nassau?
Yeah, I was able to see a whole bunch of different perspectives, for one, and I also, at the same time, somewhat paradoxically, got to meet with people and make friends with people, I should say, that were of similar mind, or at least similar of enough mind to where I could speak for them. We were all interested in journalism and writing stories and all that kind of fun stuff, and there would just be debates in the office sometimes, and it would just be pretty fun, and I was able to bond with people, and I was like, oh, this is nice.
And it's true. You came from, what happens at Nassau, you come from different communities, and now you find everyone has converged here on campus, and so you get to meet people from other towns and communities and things like that. So have you ever thought to go and report on other towns and communities that you found interesting? Or
I always think about it, because there's always so much to cover in just one town, though, and that I can say confidently, because Great Neck, there's no shortage of stories. Town of North Hempstead, no shortage. So why would it be different, say, in Babylon or Smithtown or anywhere else on Long Island, and perhaps out of state even? I'm not ruling that out either eventually.
Well, I'm not saying leave me. I'm just saying you have the right to want to go and take a look at other things, or if you thought about communities that you would sit there and say, I would like to report on this community, those kind of things.
Yeah, sometimes I see these stories just pop up on my Google alerts, because my boss is like, hey, you have to have those. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine. And it's just like, oh, that would be interesting if that were in my beat.
What would you say the impact of social media has been on reporting and journalism?
Oh, gosh, that is a huge question, because, we're still grappling with that. And I would say it's been mixed bag in some ways. Really good, sometimes really bad. Like, if you tweet one wrong thing, people will be like, rah! And I'll be like, I didn't mean it. And then they'll be like, why'd you say this? Why'd you say that? And they'll sometimes, even go back in time to, see that you were some crazy college student who forgot to delete their tweets. But on the other hand, you get to really see what's happening in the moment. You get to reach out to people that are experiencing something in the moment. And honestly, it's really good for crowdsourcing, and I can say I've found a couple stories that way. Through
social media?
Yeah.
Okay. You are listening to Lion Tales. Today's guest is a Nassau County, Long Island reporter who has won Who's Who amongst student awards, Nassau Community College Activities Awards, and the SUNY Chancellor's Award for Student Excellence, Janelle Clausen. My name is Charmian Smith, along with Aurora Workman on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
It was a goal that I wanted to achieve from the very beginning. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. I wasn't sure if I could do it. It was very hard for me, but the teachers, the counselors, they help you. One of the teachers was Miss Araceli. Miss Araceli, she gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll come over and she'll sit there with you until you get it.
At age 47, with the help of his teacher, Marco finished his high school diploma.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work. Getting your high school diploma, it is a life-changing experience. It really is. It catapults you to where you want to go.